Coming to you live from the heart of Kampala on Jananlum Church House, level 13. Thank you so much for choosing Church of Uganda Family TV. This is the Family Hour, and we really welcome you to this show, empowering families one episode at a time. And this is our Wednesday edition where we discuss finances and wealth. Now, Family Hour runs Monday to Friday, and just to take you through our enriched segments, Monday we're always discussing education. Tuesday we discuss family health. Now Wednesday, like today, we are discussing finance and wealth. Thursday is always leadership and governance, and we close up the week with parenting. So you shouldn't miss any single episode of the Family Hour. Now, before we get into today's topic, I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Chabazinga of Busoga, His Royal Highness Gabulana Diop IV, and the people of Busoga upon his 9th coronation. And we pray that may God continue protecting you and using you to transform Busoga as a region. And to you who is watching us right now, we want to thank God that you're still alive, and the fact that you're seeing this this face and you're listening to this audio is at least enough to say thank you, Lord, for this day, which is almost ending, and we don't want it to end before you get this fully packed content on family finance and wealth. Edwin Austin Mukalazi is my name, and today we are discussing dynamics of running a family business. What is a family business? What should be considered as a family business? Because that is also something to discuss, to talk about. And by the time we complete this show, you will be able to differentiate between a family business and an example of a family business. But with us is none other than Rev Jasper Tumuhimbise, who is the General CEO of Church Commissioners Holdings. Now, when we talk about Church Commissioners Holdings, this is the investment arm of the church, which harbors the church house where we are right now. It also harbors Church of Uganda Family TV, Namirembe Guest House, Centenary Publishers, Navugabo Holiday Center, and Uganda Bookshop. But of course, those are just a few of the very many projects that they are working on. Last time you told us we should expect pads and toilet papers.
Toilet papers,
wow.
pads, soap.
Okay.
We call it Omo, but it's called detergent. Then, I mean, an industrial hub. And then later, during next year, we shall also have a paper recycling machine, God willing. Okay. In other words, just look out for those brands with such commission holdings and support us. Support us using your ideas. Support us by visiting Namirembe Guest House and our Uganda Bookshop. Visit the Centenary Publishing. If you have something to print, please contact us, because for us it is not, as I will say later, it is not simply a business, but kingdom business that we promote God in whatever we do.
We started it that way, but Reverend, kindly greet our viewers.
Greetings, the viewers and listeners. I know I have some people who go on phones, and they can't easily download the picture. They normally tell me that we listened. Greetings and praise the Lord, because indeed this is the channel to remain on. It is our channel. And for us it is educative, so that we help ourselves to live a kingdom way of life. And I thank God for all of you are watching.
And it's a pleasure having you, especially when we talk about family business. We've encouraged people. I remember one time you were here and you encouraged people to start up a family investment. Now here we are, and very many people are running what they think is a family business, but
when it is one person show, one husband or one wife show,
the others just know that business exists.
So the family business by definition means that it is one or two people who are shareholders of a business or an activity that generates money and revenue, and their blood relatives, or connected through marriage, or through adoption. In other words, if I adopt a child and I make a company with that child, that's what we call family business. That we have majority shareholding within the company. But there are three types when you talk about family business. One is what they call first generation, where, like my son, when he was 15 years, in his senior 5, he began a company called Imo Uganda Limited. And he had directors, and I facilitated...
At 15 years?
At 15 years. And I facilitated it as a father, but it was nice for a child. That's first generation business. That a child has majority shareholders, or one of you or two of you have majority, and you have begun. Then there is what they call sibling ownership, where you have your brother or your wife, and you form a company, you own the shares, and you run it. Then the other one is also family dynasty, where it began in 1880s, and it is passed on to different generations. And in fact, many of the advocate companies like in USA, UK, they are from old. Then some of the food products, McDonald's, those are passed on to children, and it means that therefore the children are capturing the vision of the founder. Okay. And sometimes, of course, later when they capture their own vision, they still remain within the other vision of the founder member. But that's basically what we call a family business. Okay. That majority shareholders are being occupied by blood relatives or those who are in marriage. Yes.
Now we look at the three types you've talked about, and if we can weigh which of the three should be really the best option to take on as a family.
Yeah, the best model is the family dynasty. Okay. Why? Because you capture vision, and that vision goes beyond you for generations. And really, that's what the Bible encourages, that you capture vision, then sell it to your children, and then the children are able to run a business on your behalf. And such a family businesses really are sustainable. Many businesses die even before birth. I mean, it is an idea, and we don't even put it on paper. And I will come to it later. Yes. I mean, what are the elements of making a business? Yes. But many businesses die at birth, or if, like daddy brings it, it remains daddy what? Business. The children are totally disconnected with that, and that's why men are frustrated. I know men, about 3 men, who really wished that they hadn't done what they were doing, because children were saying, that's your business, may have nothing to do with it. And it is very, very challenging, especially you thought you had a vision, but because you never shared it, then it collapses with you. And so there are so many family businesses. They began well, the intentions are good, but then when somebody is incapacitated, even sickness, it dies. Why? Because nobody has captured the same vision. And that's why, if it is a family business, please make it family. And you will talk, of course, about the elements of a good family business. Because many of us will simply think, no involvement, no consultations, no participation. I am the head of this family. So all of us, Christmas, let's go home. That's business. But they will begin questioning you when they're about 12. Then 16, they will say, no, we are not going. 21, you will go alone if your wife agrees with you. And therefore, that's how the business dies. Why? Because there was no sense of participation. And it is this dictator who is dictating. And when you now get incapacitated or die, they eat the money and invest it elsewhere.
Okay. Now, let us first of all talk about the elements before, as we lay a foundation for this before we even get into the other broader discussion. Yes. Let us look at the elements of a business.
Yes, the elements of a business. And you see, this is totally corporate. Yes. We are dealing with a business that you have registered, you pay taxes, you do whatever is necessary. So for you to have a proper family business, please listen, especially because Christians really, I'm now saying this with a pinch of salt, we don't run businesses very well. Others run churches as their businesses. When they transfer, they begin crying. Others are like one head of late even wrong man said, no, we own this church. No, you don't own a church. You can go and make your own family constitution, but the church belongs to God. And many of us reverends who think that, you know, we steal a bit and what, let me tell you, you retire at 65. And the moment you retire, God will put somebody who is better than you. But that's not where I'm going. So these are the elements. And they are key components of running a business. Number one, please make a family constitution. If you want a business, make a constitution. The others call them articles of what? Association. So that you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, our governance infrastructure is this. Again, many people want to register a business name, but there are no articles. It is just a name so that they open an account, full stop. But they are nothing like, these are the shareholders, these are it is the AGM, if it is the AGM, these are the components of AGM, the family members who are the secretary, the treasurer is this. Please make it plain. Secondly,
how important is this? How is it important having this constitution? How does it support this family business?
Yeah, because it will now show who has how many shares. Secondly, who is the director, who is the secretary, so that when you are in a meeting, you are not the chair and the secretary, and some people are even treasurers. You need to specify so that that constitution governs you, because constitutional governance means there is a document written and you are following it. And if you cease to be a chair, the successor is this. And it is also so clear that there can't be a gap. But now, if you don't have it, anybody will what? Will take over. They normally say in our languages that when the head of the family is not present, frogs begin climbing on the walls. That's what happens. That you see, the idea was yours, you never put in writing, you never had meetings, and therefore nothing. So the second part, which is part of the constitutional arrangement, but a very big element, is board of directors. That you see, I'm not the one going to govern this what? This agency. I will now appoint board of directors who specifically I will have professionals, accountants. If it is an engineering company, I will get an engineer. If it is a church, I will get some religious leader with theology, so that those will help me put processes under my farm, so that in a way they begin, you know, directing my path. Now the challenge today is we fear board of directors. Hey, they will disagree with us. They will take money. Others will even appoint board of directors and they never meet. Strictly speaking, when you appoint a board, the purpose is so that they meet and help you run a certain vision. But the moment you fear them, then don't appoint them. But the moment they are not there, then who will help you? Even in churches, you know, you're running a church and then there is a council, but you don't listen. You run a church, you begin saying, this is my church again. There is a council. The purpose of council is not fighting in the boardroom. The purpose is to guide towards the constitutional what? Governance. So board of directors is very key. And whom do you appoint? It is not necessarily relatives and friends. No.
I think that is very, very important. And now take us to what we should consider as we appoint the board of directors.
A functional board you must consider what you do. If it is agriculture, look for people who have been in agriculture. And you consider 3 things. Number 1 is education. Number 2 is experience. Number 3 is actually the practice. There is experience, but
the practice.
I mean, the practice. Like now me, I'm a professional statistician. But I haven't practiced what statistics, so you can't choose me as a statistician on your board. No, you would have missed. So the practice, what have they been doing in the corporate world? Because again, you can also have experience, but in terms of board governance, you are zero. So that's the board, a functional board, which will help put things in order so that you are able to move. So number 3 is the family meetings. Family meetings are interesting. Of course, it is simple to talk about family meetings where you meet and dictate. But in such a meetings now, we are dealing with business. That we set up this business and we need to talk about how it is doing. And normally, I know families which are very good really, where they have put children in specific businesses and they meet oftentimes so that now they continue in certain direction. And the family meeting, therefore, is a place where you now talk about business only. Okay. This is not the area for punishment. Yes. Punishment is others. Encouragement is others. This time we are dealing with business. What were our plans? Where are we? What should we do? Now, you are now no longer taking a family as simply a social unit, but you are taking it as a very serious business unit. Okay. Now, there is also what they call shareholder agreements. Okay, this is family business. Dad has 50%, mommy 25%, children, for example, 25%. That's 100. When it is time to share on profits, the lion, you know, in the Zango world, the hunter will be the female lion. But when the lion, big lion comes, he will consume first. When he is satisfied, then the small lions and the mothers can come to eat and they begin fighting for the little food. In terms of shareholding, ensure that you are dividing all those profits in accordance with the shareholding. Okay. Children, if they have made good business, please give them. If you are like me and you tithe, you are 20%, get it, tithe it. In other words, let there be no feeling that when there are profits, the lion does what? Takes the lion share. Because in a way, you'll be killing businesses. Then, most important, succession planning. Now, I guess I will talk about retirement one of these days. Yes. Because many of us really think, again, I'm a churchman, I talk about church a lot. You are a vicar, but you think that you will stay there forever. And you begin antagonizing the neighborhood. You begin building walls. When you need to enter the next day using the same wall. And so, succession planning means, as a daddy, I run this business up to this time. Then I will hand over. And have that risk of handing over. And please get out. So that you begin seeing that this child is actually able to do what? To run this business. And that's why how they now form a family dynasty. That you see, it has gone through 4 generations. Yes. Many family businesses die at the first generation. When the founder member, I call it founder member syndrome, FMS. When the founder dies, it also goes with him. They actually bury even articles of association with the founder member. So succession planning means in 20 years, who will be in charge? 40 years, when I'm long gone, is this idea something that can continue? Then, so on the succession plan, should it be also put into writing and everyone has access to this information, or it should be kept to you as the head? If you die with it, then how shall we know who is taking over? By the way, succession plan is not simply about writing. It is also about involvement. You know, to begin mentoring. Going on business trips to China with your child. Like me, I like preaching, so I go to preach with my child. And sometimes they say, this one, you are someone who wasn't as good as this. And I ask, what would you have done? There, you are involving in order for somebody to become like you or even better than you, but now they will take over from you. Now in Africa, the challenge is we fear to risk that our children can't take over from us, and we don't give them, serious business. Now also, on addition to succession planning, core values. Now, core values means that there are certain things that will not happen in our business. It doesn't matter the pressure, there are certain things that will not happen in the business that I'm doing. For example, as a family, we have core values. And each one of us knows that none of us can trade in beer. Okay, it is not even a question. Why? Because they all know. And because we can't trade in beer, none of us can therefore drink it. And if you read in Jeremiah chapter 35, there was a man called Rakab. God honors people who honor values. That as a reverend, as a family business, for us, we shall do 1, 2, 3. We shall pay workers well. We shall not sell beer. We shall not. And let me tell you, of course, I can't talk about brands on a television because that's unfair to certain businesses. But businesses, family businesses, which have succeeded, there will be a value system. If it is your religion, you will protect it no matter what. And people will come and even complain. You can't sell this. Yeah, I don't sell it. And businesses which do that will definitely succeed. Now, those which don't do will appear to be succeeding. But in the near future, the moment you violate one value, then you will violate other values. And therefore, you will not be what? You will not be focused. Focused people will have values and will maintain that value system. Like for example, me, integrity. I don't take commissions now. But there are so many people who call me, hey Reverend, your commission is ready. No, I'm not for sale. I don't take commissions. And it is my value. It is what sells me. A value will sell you more than your education. The value will sell you more than your experience. The value actually is what you die with and take to God. That God, I live the life of integrity. So the value system, what are your core values? What do you cherish as a what? A family business. If we are producing eggs, for example, and we had a family, I think you saw it when you visited me. You must have eaten an omelette. But as we produce eggs, do we put this medicine that they are talking about? Can my wife at any one time get RV and feed on our chicken? Never. We rather run out of business than selling to people what will kill them. Period.
You've reminded me of someone who shared with us a story that he had to close his farm, poultry farm. Why? He asked the wife, before we started rearing hens, we used to have eggs available. And now it is 3 months, no eggs at home. What went wrong? Yet we have a farm. So the wife says, do you see this vaccine? And he said, when the hens fell sick last time, I used this medicine. And now read this instruction. The eggs should not be eaten
for a period of time. Full stop.
So the husband now asked, so where do the eggs go? I sell them. Now
you get it. You are feeding to people what you can't eat, meaning you have no value system. In other words, for you, and you see the challenge today is that your child will eat the same egg. Because you see, they'll go to school, they'll go to a hotel where they are cooking the same egg. And so when, like, for example, the maize brand went high, our family business of chicken, we had to collapse it. Why? Because it wasn't making
profit,
business sense. Others, began using systems which we don't believe in as a what? As a family. Currently, yes, there is a house for chicken, but they're about 10 and 22 turkeys where you pick and eat. But we are not worried.
Yeah.
Why? Because for us as Christians, our principle is you can't feed on others what you can't eat. In fact, businesses which have high level of core values survive throughout generations. So that's why you have McDonald's, KFC. I can talk about petrol stations. You know, of course, some of them will make you laugh. Because when you talk about a petrol station, there is a petrol station that comes. When you talk about a soft drink, there's soft drink that comes. When I talk about toothpaste, they clearly, you even go to say, hey, please, give me... Now let me not mention it on one. But like Makerere University also made the brand.
Yes.
You know, and when I went to UCU, my mother rang me and said, hey, you have gone to Makerere of Mukono. I said, yes. Why? Because it is the brand.
Yes.
So core values will sell you more than anything else. And so if you are listening to me, and you have been struggling, for example, with, you know, I needed to do this to become like, I needed to, you know, ensure that I add this. Let me tell you, do what is right. God will actually bless you. In a way, even if you don't get what others are getting, what does it mean to, you know, gain the whole world, you have all the money, and you are so sure that somebody died and because of what you fed them on? And friends, Ugandans, as you listen, and this is the family, Church of Uganda Family TV, let me tell you, let's have core values so that we shall be known by our brand. That you see Church of Uganda is like this. And unfortunately, you know, this color, sometimes I even fear putting it on. Why? Because there are so many corny reverends. I mean, two this season have called me that commission. Who, me? I'm a commissioner, yes. But not for commissions. You can't reduce me to a certain level of absurdity that you are giving me money. Me? To survive what? That you are bribing me? No, I can't reduce myself. Why? Because I will keep myself for my God. So if you have a family business, please have core values. Finally, number 7.
Before the final one, let's take a short commercial break. When we return, we are going to continue with this discussion. It is not something you can just rush through, I believe. Yeah. Thank you so much, you who is still watching Church of Uganda Family TV. And we are delighted that you are still on. This is the Family Hour Wednesday edition where we discuss family finances and wealth. And today we are talking about the dynamics of a family business. Now, our guest, Reverend Jasper, had shared with us 6 elements so far, and we are left with some other elements that he's going to share. And to me, core values is really very, very strong. Actually, it should have been number 1.
Yes.
And so, Reverend, before you leave core values, where should these core values be written? Should they be written on a wall where every morning you reflect on, or you should be reminding the stakeholders, the shareholders, that these are our values?
Yes.
Where should they be written?
Yes.
In heart, in books, on the wall?
Yeah, so normally if you visit an organization, go to the notice board. You'll find the vision, the mission, then what they call core values. That we stand for this. So if you visit an organization and don't see core values, normally it is good to ask. So my children, when like a traffic officer stops me, they will tell him clearly, Daddy does not pay a bribe. Okay, do what you want to do. It doesn't matter where we are. We are going to Kenya, and towards Nakuru they stop us, and my wife had removed the seat belt because of the strain on her what, and then they said, we are going to court. Then children, he was about 3 years, told her, if it is court, go quickly. Daddy never pays a bribe, and that was in English. Why? Because they know my core values. That you see when I'm working, all workers should know that boss doesn't do this. Why? Because again, that value will take you where your education can't take you. The value will take you where your money can't take you. That value is what God cherishes. In fact, Jesus, in talking about, by the way, Jesus talked more about business than heaven. You get it? Yeah. Kingdom business. Left talents. Then if you find a pearl in a garden, you sell. You get it? Yes. It is about sell. Why? Because he's well aware that where your treasure is, there your heart is also. So what do you really value? What is your core value? Can you write 3 core values? And when people see you, do they see that value? And so when somebody comes to me, a reverend, and says, receive this million, it is a casino. I look at them, and one of them, I just pointed this finger. Why? Because you can't reduce me to a casino. You can't reduce me to something that I'm not. Why? Because I am not. And by the way, I do not need that to survive. When you have your core value, God will make you survive beyond description. So I'm encouraging you, if you do not have a core value, please have it tonight. And the core value means it is valuable. Yeah. You see, something without value can't be a value. It must be something you are willing to die for. Otherwise, it is not core. If I'm not willing to die for my integrity, then it is no longer my core value. So my core value is integrity, that I will be able to live outside my marriage and my wife won't get worried, like telephone calls at night when you're on a business trip, that I'm able to stay with money and at least, you see, my supervisor will not be worried that I will take it. That I was able to withstand on 8th of October 2003. I had 4,000 shillings in my pocket. Now, 8th of October means 9th is the what? Is the public holiday. And then somebody came with a bribe of 1 million. Those days, 2003, 1 million, some of us would go to church and say, praise the Lord, I got a blessing.
God blessed me.
And they were about to, 1 million, 10 Ks. They were brownish in color. I looked I looked at the 1 million. I remembered what I had in my pocket. I mean, after removing transport, 2,000 can't take the family pass through the public holiday. Then I looked at my value. So 3 things: the money, what is in my pocket, and then the value. And I chose my value. And we arrested them, I can assure you. I don't know how I passed through that independence, but I passed through it anyway. I never died. And I can also tell you that you need that value in your business, even as you do agriculture, so that will sell you. People will run towards you to work for you. Others will say, me, I want to go and eat in this place. Yeah. And by the way, the moment church becomes like that, we won't need fundraisings. Money will come. I thank God, recently, All Saints Cathedral. Yeah. Without manipulation of people. You know how much they collected? 900 million. Now, in one sitting, 900 million. And we bless the Lord for that. Why? Because possibly the value system around All Saints has been tested. Yes. And people can trust that when I give this person is able to look after it. But go to churches where there is manipulation, there is no blessing, but more importantly, if you leave work, I can assure you, some reverends, you can't call them even for your wedding. I'm not talking about conducting a wedding, but when they retire, you can't call them to just attend your wedding. Why? Because they have no values. Some are even criticism only, others are ever saying, you know, this one, envy and what. And I thank God for those reverends. You know, I have my sister, let me mention her, Rev Diana.
Yeah, Reverend Diana.
Yes, that you see, even in business today, I have to get a pen and paper and write to her, please help us on this. You know why? Because of what she stood for. But look at some of us, that we are even praying that some people can retire. You know why? Because you have no value. And let me tell you, God honors people with a value system. Again, if you read, you know, Jeremiah 35, the Rechabites, the man had said, for me, my children will not drink any alcohol.
Yes.
Secondly, we shall stay in tents. I mean, I was reading it and saying, is this something serious? But according to God, that was very good to the extent that God says, because of this, no, that we shall have every Rechabite on my throne. You get it? So I pray that my family business will enjoy generations because they remember that Jasper stood for certain value system. That when I leave office, it is not clapping, people should be crying. It's okay, somebody should cry. Why? Because that he helped me become this. But there is when you leave. I watched the film Problem Child. When he left, balloons were upwards. And there are so many people, the moment they leave. Celebrations. And we are bishops, we are reverends, we are lay readers. Value system. There is an old man I met. Then we were in a meeting over land. You know, land in the Church of Uganda is land. And I can assure you, God will protect his land.
Amen.
And sometimes he doesn't need some of our helps.
Yeah.
So I go to attend a meeting, and one man, old man, said that you rang me, saying you will take me to prison. Now, okay, the shock was, I rang saying, and this is the meeting, but thankfully, 3 people knew me. They said, Jasper cannot do this. And I enjoyed that moment because I even asked him, but I recorded your conversation. So can I play it? He said no. Now, you are an old man. You are about to retire. You are busy lying. And by the way, lying so that what? So posterity, that core value will take you places. And now when I meet him, again, some of us will be called for weddings. But there are those who are never invited. If you are never invited, don't begin saying retirement is bad. No, ask yourself, what was your value system? Did you honor people? If you didn't, then I can't invite you when you never honored me. It doesn't matter. And even these business deals, there's when one family says, hey, you come and what? Join us. Reason is the core value. So when we are looking for business associates, when we are looking for company directors, we are not looking for people with money. No. We look for people with value.
Wow. Wow. Reverend, there is one we had left out, we had not talked about as the element.
Yes. The last one is what we call good governance. Now, good governance has so many elements. And of course, I used it as the last one because I want to inform us that if a company is not following good governance elements, then it is bound to collapse. And so good governance will mean if it is paying taxes, please pay. Let me now repeat. Christians, please pay taxes. I wish you are I can listen to me and possibly pay for this advert. They can advertise on Church of Uganda Family TV. Please pay your taxes and pay in time. That's good governance. That we are not debating on whether to pay or not. That when it is pay as you earn, pay it, and pay to the maximum. Jesus, in order not to offend the Pharisees, told Peter, go and what? Pick a fish, get money, and we pay tax. And it was clear, the temple tax. And yet he was the king of kings, the head of the temple. He paid. So that's the good governance. And then secondly, pay your workers. Now again. And you see, I have lived, I will be 55 years next year. I'm saying this because I will get my NSSF. But you know, it is a challenge when you find workers complaining. Because if you have a Christian family business, workers are part of the family. As a mode of good governance, let me repeat. If you have a business as a Christian, your workers are part of the family. Meaning you are extending the public good to others. But look at us. Some don't pay house girls. Others don't pay their workers very well. Again, I'm not saying that the shocks like COVID won't come. Let them come. But be paying your workers adequately. Why? Because the moment you focus more on profit rather than people, then that business is not of God. I repeat that. The moment you focus on family profits, not people, kingdom business, the dove, entering bread and becoming an influencer for the bigger public good, you are not of God. If you are not the light to light others in darkness, it means your business is not of God. It means you are simply selfish. So these are the elements of good governance. I will move through them very quickly.
Yes, we'll go through them.
And
even if we end at that, but at least it is important that we...
So the first element is participation. That no decision will be taken unless if I have sold it to others and they have participated to say that, Daddy, we don't like transport business. That was my dream, to make transport business. But the family said, we don't like it. Agriculture for mommy, the family ticked. Then another child who made IMO, Uganda Limited, we ticked. You get it? That we do not like transport business. So I still have that dream. Until when I help others participate and involve them, then I will not do it. Secondly, rule of law. Meaning, whatever, if you say no going home at midnight, don't break that rule. If you say that you see we shall all get up at 6, don't say all of you get up and then me, I will get up at 7. If you say we shall all be at the altar table at 9 as a family, be the first one to sit. But there are so many men, they want their children to pray, but prayer is nothing for them. I know a man would drop his family at all cents and go to the vehicle and begin reading his newspaper. That's not family business, my friend. That's not the rule of law. So why don't you allow everybody to read newspapers?
To stay at the back.
So rule of law means you have set standards and you are following them. And it has a connection with core values. Number 3, be effective and efficient. That you see, as a family, we are not going to be known for waste. Where the fridge is full of things to throw out. No. God honors people who don't waste. In fact, when you read John chapter 6, verse 10, it says that pick everything. You know, they had eaten and then there were 12 baskets. Let there remain nothing. That's Jesus speaking. God hates waste. God hates people who get money and they can't set until when they finish it. God hates people who do not use, who don't give value for money. If efficiency also means if you are selling goods, please don't sell lesser kilograms. And you see, we have a system where I asked recently a lady, she was selling us sweet potatoes. I said, be honest, I was in a corner. Is everything down okay? She said, honestly, Reverend, things down are not okay. Then I said, go and do the right thing. And I will pay you the proper price. So that's being effective and efficient. That I can use little money, but to get something big. That can I use little money to bless somebody. Then what we call consensus. That as families, you must reach a level where you agree. Minimum agreement that let's all do this. Let's all shift to this place. And I can assure you, my family, in terms of business, we generally agree. Even in general grown schools, which school should we go to? We generally agree on which family should be our friend. Yes. Yes, it is very important.
So is that how serious it is?
It is very serious, because if you associate with a family of drunkards, your children will follow suit.
Exactly.
If you associate with a family that has another type of value system, it means you are selling your children to those souls. So we discuss that, and there is general consensus that in terms of church, there are so many churches, but let's go for this church. In terms of, these denomination and cults, to say, children, generally, let's have that concept. It is important in business, because again, if you don't agree, those who are disagreeing with you will kill your business. Let me repeat it for those who are not agreeing. That if you don't agree now, that generally we need to do this, then later if you begin, those who never agreed with you will undermine you. And there is a power of agreement. That's Matthew chapter 18, verse 18. That if two of you agree, I will do anything. Meaning consensus actually helps people to be united, but also helps them to help one another. That when my wife is not there, I'm able to go and ask about the chicken. When I'm not around, that my wife will ask about my business. So that it is what? A family business. Then, very importantly, we call it responsiveness. Responsiveness means that if you have a business and nobody visits you, please close it. Let me repeat.
Exactly.
If you have a business and everybody passes by, there is nobody responding, simply close it. Because where there is light, some butterflies will fly toward the light and the moth. Reason is the light. So, if you have a business and they visit your business when they are workers, it means you shouldn't be entering that business. It is okay to run that business, but you as a person, please don't go, because you are offensive to potential customers. Now, of course, I'm not being tribal, but they say Bachiga we are not good at business. Because if you ask that in I can't get it. For us, kusala means to cut. To physical cutting. To get a makasi and I cut on the Sarirako. Either buy or go away. Or you show them where they can.
They can do
the cheaper one. You go to the cheaper one. So, but the responsiveness means that you have a business and you are able to be attractive. By the way, as a family that knows God. That people can come to our family, people can come to our business. When I'm running this chicken business, that people can come home and check, and I am able to attract others to that type of business. But the danger normally is competitiveness. That we do not want to show others what we are doing because we fear competition. But I can assure you, I was visiting somebody who is dealing with printing, and he told me that there are so many jobs that he doesn't fear anybody opening up a printing firm. And I thanked him. Why? Because you see, God has given us the whole world, and it is before us. And the Bible says He gives you according to your what? to your ability. So if somebody got 5 talents, another one or 2, the important thing is to use our talents for kingdom business. Second last, equity and inclusiveness. Equity, others have reduced it to equality, but they are not the same. The equity means that whatever you do to this one, you must do it to the other one. For us, which we have 1 girl, biological, and 3 boys. So equity means that this girl is part of the family business, and 25% of our estate belongs to Council Lisa Jasmine Atkunda. Full stop. To say that this is the lady, so she shouldn't forget. That's not our family business. She has all the rights the way other children have. And you see, if you read Job, chapter 42, I'm now teaching.
Yes.
He had 3 girls.
Yes.
And he gave them the same property with the boys.
Yes.
That's the kingdom business. That you are not going to say this is female, male, young, old. No. God wants his people to be equitably given the way he has equitably given us his son. And in fact, if you are equitable, it means that, and inclusive, it means that if somebody from another tribe comes to work for you, you will take them as the brothers and sisters. Do you know? If, I have never steal your tribe. You know why? Because I take you as a brother, full stop. Yes. And if you now begin stealing me, asking which tribe, normally tell me, Reverend, you are lost. Why? Because according to God, we are humanity. In fact, the dividing wall, that's in Ephesians. The dividing wall, Ephesians chapter 2, from verse 11, the dividing wall was crushed by Jesus Christ. So it is not that I run Resero, Bachiga, Baganda. No. If you have a family business, you must equitably sell. And in that regard, you can't have what they call price discrimination. That the way Owen comes, this one, I should ask for more. On the streets, that's what they do. If you're in a vehicle, they will hike the what? No, for us as Christians, it is equity, and we include everybody. And by the way, those people who discriminate, again, you can't be a Christian and discriminate. Finally, accountability and transparency. That you see, as families, you need to account. And accountability has 3 elements. 1, the time we have spent in the business. Time. We have spent 3 years, in chicken. What have we gained? What have what? Then the second thing is the treasure. Those are the monies that come out of what? Come out of chicken, out of any business. The treasures, the monies. Can we account? Are we progressing? Do we need to change certain tactics? Do we need to market? That's the treasure. But then, listen to this. Whatever you get out of business is not necessarily for you alone. If you get profits, give to workers, give to church, so that you see humanity obtain something out of your business. Then the last one is talents. That families have talents. That if you have children, they have what? Different talents. Let them use them. If they know how to, do things on the computer, let them trade for you. If they know how to, knit, let those people knit, so that the business is propelled by talents. Then finally, as I said, is a transparency. That I'm able to show that if you visit my home, and by the way, it is beautiful, thank God, that I'm able to transparently account for every money we got for us to build that home. That I'm not shy to say, God has blessed me. And because he has blessed me, I can transparently say, yes, my God has given me this, and I got it from 1, 2, 3. But there are so many people. If you ask them where they got their vehicle, they begin quarreling. Why? Because they can't even remember where they stole it from. And let me tell you, don't steal in order to prosper, because you'll never prosper when you are stealing. As a family, by the way. And so I encourage my children, never steal. Let God bless the works of your hands.
Amen. Reverend, I kindly request that we cannot exhaust this topic. It is really broad.
Yes.
Why don't we pick it up from there next week? If God will wish.
I will be glad, God willing, to come and we continue. Because again, friends, as you listen to Church of Uganda Family TV, again, Jesus talked more about business than heaven, than church. You know, church only appears in Matthew 16:16 when he was charging Peter. Meaning that Christianity is kingdom business, that we can't be attractive when we are not doing things in accordance with the king's wishes. And I pray that as we do better businesses, God will prosper us. God bless you.
Amen, and bless you too. And to your viewer, thank you so much for choosing Church of Uganda Family TV and watching us from where we started from up to this time. This has been the Family Hour Wednesday edition. Remember to watch in tomorrow, where we shall have the Deputy IGG now discussing integrity. Of course, we talked about integrity here, but tomorrow we shall have integrity broadly discussed. But remember, we have Soul Moment immediately after this show, and endeavor to wake up with us on Good Morning Family with Daphne Karungi Kangave and Luke.
And the film, by the way.
Yeah, the family.
I watched the film yesterday about a young man
after Soul Moment
somebody who died
at 10:30
200 years ago. I watched it up to the end.
Please watch the family movie
family
at
film,
10:30 today.
Okay.